Chapter 4: Our Enslavement. William Bramley wrote in his excellent 1990 book entitled The Gods of Eden that he begun his book in order to study the causes of war, but by the end of it, came to the conclusion that human beings appear to be a slave race, languishing on an isolated planet in a small galaxy. He postulated that the human race was once a source of labor for an extraterrestrial civilization and still remains a possession today. He stipulated that to keep control over its possession and to maintain Earth as a prison, that a civilization that he calls custodians has intentionally bred never-ending conflict between humans, promoted spiritual decay, and have created on Earth conditions of unremitting physical hardship, and the situation has lasted for thousands of years and continues to this day. It's really difficult to argue with this assessment, as you will notice by the end of the book. The only difference, I believe, is that in place of custodians you can insert the elite or Illuminati that are controlling Earth. There may be possibilities that they themselves are being controlled by outside influences, which I will cover in my next book. Alexander Light, writing for Humanzerafree.com, writes that there are 13 families that are ruling the world that are the shadow forces behind the New World Order. He thinks that they are following a slow-paced agenda of total control over mankind and the planet's resources. David Icke called this the totalitarian tiptoe because they are making very small steps towards this completion of our enslavement. The masses remain relatively unaware of the fact that their liberties are being slowly eroded. These 13 families believe that they are entitled to rule over us because of their lineage and that they are direct descendants of the ancient gods, and they consider themselves to be royalty. Therefore the elite believe that they were born to rule, and the majority of the population that they rule were born to be slaves to them and their plans. They see this as consequence of their bloodlines, and some have called the lines blue blood. Some authors have written that these ruling families believe that they have the right to rule the world because they are descended from the emperors of ancient Rome. The families are Rothschild, Bauer or Bauer, Bruce, Cavendish, Kennedy, de Medici, Hanover, Habsburg, Krupp, Plantagenet, Rockefeller, Romanov, Sinclair, Warburg, Del Banco, and Windsor, Saxe-Coburg. The Rothschild dynasty is the most powerful, with wealth of an estimated $500 trillion. They own almost every bank in the world and financed both sides of every war since Napoleon, and they own news media companies, oil companies and governments. The City of London finance is controlled by them, as it is not part of the UK. The US Federal Reserve is a private bank owned by them and is not part of the US. Vatican City is owned by them. Indoctrination, deception, scare tactics, and is not a part of Italy. And Washington, D.C., military, mind programming, brainwashing and depopulation. These institutions function as individual states operating under their own laws. This means that they cannot be prosecuted.